We're getting the good morning, everyone. Very nice to spend some time here, and we're very proud for Microsoft to be a sponsor for the conference, and we really very much thank the Retailers Association of India in bringing this all together. And I think Mr. Nagesh did a wonderful job in painting the picture in terms of the opportunity that we have today in India. And I love the whole idea about evolve, and I love the whole idea about consumer. And that the consumer is king, because I think that's exactly true, and I think that's what I'm going to talk about, even in a little bit more detail and from a perspective, from a Microsoft perspective. A couple things I want to just point out, maybe just to start off and sort of add on to Mr. Nagesh's discussion. You know, he talked about the mobile phone revolution in India over the last decade, and I would argue that we're just at the beginning of it, right? I'll give you a couple facts. Right, everyone knows there's 700 million phones in India, right? But if you go back 18 months, just 18 months, and you pulled out Mary Meeker's report on the internet and usage of the internet in the world, the thing that actually matters is connected devices. Devices that are connected to data. Voice is good, but data really starts to make things very interesting. If you looked at the top 40 countries in the world and the number of connected devices, India was not on the list. India was not on the list of the top 40 in the world of connected devices 18 months ago, even with 700 million mobile phones, because most of them are not connected to data. They have no data connection, right? The majority don't. By 2015, India will be number 4 on that list. That's absolutely amazing. In the amount of change that's going to happen. Number 4 in the world. So just think about what's sort of happening right now. And why I say this is just a very interesting article that was in the ET this morning about Amazon. And they had the country manager of Amazon being interviewed based on what they just sort of did. And anyone in the room from Amazon? No? Well, let me ask a question. Quick show of hands. You get to pick one of 2 votes, either yes or no. Who thinks Amazon will be successful? Will be successful in India? Yeah? Who thinks they won't be successful? Okay, so that's about 80-20. 80 successful, 20 not successful. What did they do? They're not going to sell their own products here in India. They figured out a way to actually just manage the throughput and the distribution, and they're going to leverage a bunch of things from what they know and they do really well from their core competency and sell that in India. Now, what's very interesting, if you go back on what they started with the Kindle and the Kindle Fire, I'll give you just a couple of other additional facts. In 6 weeks, when they announced the Kindle Fire, they sold 5 million devices. 5 million in 6 weeks. Why is that interesting? Just in context, if you think about that, and that's just in the United States, that's in one country. One country, 5 million devices in 6 weeks. If you think that in comparison to India, right this year, that would be 1/4 of every smartphone sold in India. It would be 50% of PCs sold in India, and it would be 200% of all the tablets sold in India in a year. They sold that many in 1 week, in 6 weeks. Now, why is that also interesting? Because they sold all of those devices at a loss. Because they are trying to create a differentiated experience for their consumers, and they're trying to create convenience. That's the 2 things that they're doing that are very, very unique and starts to become very consumer-centric, and makes it very, very easy for a consumer to connect to a brand and connect to what they want and be able to do what they need to do. And they've taken a completely different business model, which is leverage a device in order to drive their retail sales. That's truly groundbreaking. And you can just sort of see the latent demand that they've been able to create by doing that. Now, I say those 2 things because I think they're very interesting. Differentiated and convenience. If we think about differentiated in the world of India, we can go down and drive anywhere in Mumbai or Delhi or Bangalore or any city, and we will be overloaded with information. That's the physical world. We're overloaded with information, things coming at us. We're overloaded with information on our mobile phones. We're overloaded in our information in the digital world. We're overloaded all the time. being able to create a differentiated message is absolutely unique in the world today in India. That's number one. Number two is convenience. And I think India is a very interesting world of extremes. We have the most amazing convenience, where you can get your milk or your fish or your vegetables delivered to your door every morning. Very simple. And then you can have the worst inconvenience. It could take you 30 minutes to go down the road 3 kilometers to a store and find out that they don't have in stock what you want. And I think we all had both of those experiences. The ultimate inconvenience and the absolute worst. And I think that's what we sort of need to do, is figure out how do we solve all of those for our consumer, because at the end of the day, that's what's going to matter. So I'm going to show you a brief video.